Okay, today we're going to be working on an invisible zipper. Now I've cut out 2 pieces of fabric, 11 inches by 4 inches, and I put, this is the wrong side of the fabric, this is the right side. I've put just a strip of fusible interfacing, 1 inch wide, about 8.5 or 9 inches long. On each side of the fabric. Now the first thing, anytime you use an invisible zipper, the first thing you want to do before you do anything, you want to open this up and you want to press these zipper coils flat. So see how it kind of naturally comes like this. You want to fold this open and press this out, okay? Okay, once you've pressed those coils out, this is no longer going to want to lay flat, and that's okay. The next step, we're going to figure out where we want our zipper to end. So I'm going to have my zipper end right about here. So I want to be sure and mark that on my fabric as well. So it's right about here. And do that on both sides of your fabric, so you'll be able to see it when you go back to sew it. Okay. Now, the next thing we want to do, I'm just going to be basting these two. I'm going to put right sides together. I'm basting my fabric together just down to that where I want the zipper to end, and then I'll back tack and do a regular stitch the rest of the way down. And I'm going to do a 1/2 inch seam allowance on this. So basting, I'll set my stitch length to about a 5. When I get down to where I want the zipper to end, change it to about 2.5. Turn back tack there, and then finish the rest of the seam. Now I'll press my seams open. Now I have my seams all pressed. I'm ready to lay my zipper down. I want to put it face down, right on top of that seam. And I'm going to pin it in place first. And just make sure that the center of your zipper is laying right on top of the center of that seam. Okay, so now, after I get it all pinned in place, I'm going to hand baste this. I'm just basting the zipper to the seam allowance. And I'm just gonna go maybe 1/2 inch below where I want the zipper to end. I put a little mark there where I want to stop. And I'm gonna do that on both sides. Okay, so I've moved over to my Brother machine for putting the invisible zipper on. I just don't have an invisible zipper foot for my industrial machine. They make them, I just don't have one. So I'm using my Brother machine. This is what the invisible zipper foot looks like. It's got these little channels underneath, and I will show you how to use those. Okay. So once you've got your sample all basted, your zipper's basted on both sides, then you would just want to rip out that basting stitch that you did on the machine. Right, so it should look like this when you pull it open. Now, before we start sewing this, we need to open up our zipper, and then we're just going to take these hemostats, slide them right underneath that zipper, and grab a hold of that zipper stop. Okay, so that zipper is just going to slide down past where your closure is going to be. Next, I'm going to take my zipper tape and I want to flatten it out. So so you'll see there's like a little fold line. I don't know how well you can really see in there. There's a little fold line, and I want my line of stitching to go right in that fold line. Okay? Okay, so when you're sewing, you want the coils to be laying flat, and you're just going to sew right in that little fold. So go ahead and back tack on the end. And just make sure that you're always holding down the coils so they don't fold over the other way. Because if you get that thread, if it happens to fold over or stitch over the teeth, it can be a real mess. It's just very hard to get those stitches back out and start again. So let's just kind of hold the coils down as I'm stitching. And you want to do that on both sides. And then you're just stitching down to the mark where you want your zipper to end. You can back tack at the end, and then go ahead and do the other side. Again, on the other side, just going down to where your zipper ends and back tacking. All right, next you want to pull your zipper stop or your zipper pull back up. Right. Make sure you trim any loose threads, make it look nice and neat. And here we have our invisible zipper. And then the very last thing you want to do is just where your zipper, just below where your zipper ends, you're going to want to make your own little stop. If you'll notice on these invisible zippers, they don't really have a stop at the end. They just have some extra glue down here at the bottom. They really kind of assume that you are going to make the zipper stop with your machine. And I will show you how to do that in just a second. I just want to put my regular zipper foot back on. Okay, for this next step, I've just switched my, I'm on my regular domestic machine. I've switched it to a zigzag stitch. And I put the stitch length at 0, and then my stitch width is set at 5. Okay, so I'm just going to be doing a zigzag stitch right with 0 length right over that zipper where I want it to end. And it's just going to make a little bar tack. That's all it does. And you can just do about 8 stitches and makes a little bar tag just like that. And if you see, I have my stitch length was set at 0, stitch width at 5. Okay, and that's all there is to it.